who would put an end to this monopoly capitalism that is now afflicting the whole world, that's now hurting the whole world. Who would put an end to monopoly capitalism? Well, of course, we all know that revolutions don't occur overnight. Revolutions don't occur easily. But here I have a message of hope to offer. I'm very hopeful that there would be a Prout-based revolution all over the world in the near future. Now, why do I say that? I say this because I have made similar forecasts in the past. I have written books on the coming revolution in the past. Let me show you an example of some of these books. Here's a book. It's called The Downfall of Capitalism and Communism. I wrote this book in 1978. It was written in 1978. Everybody laughed at me at that time. The downfall of what? Both systems, both capitalism and communism? Well, the book was again based on my teacher's theory. The theory was the law of social cycle. Then, a little after that book, I wrote this other book. This is called Muslim Civilization and the Crisis in Iran. In these two books, I made a variety of forecasts. One forecast was that the Ayatollahs will take over Iran and then rule for a while. That was one forecast. And if you recall, the Shah of Iran was overthrown in 1979, and ever since then, the priests have been ruling Iran. Then the other forecast was that the Soviet communism would disappear by the end of the century, but the Chinese variety would flourish. That was the other forecast. And the third important forecast that I made was that the Western world, including the United States, would come in a major conflict with fundamentalist Islam. And that conflict would weaken the United States so much that in the end there would be a revolution that would overthrow the rule of money in society. That revolution would overthrow the rule of money in society. Now, I have recently written a new book. This is my new book. It appeared in February of this year. It's called The New Golden Age, The Coming Revolution Against Political Corruption and Economic Chaos. That's my most recent book. And it explains what I've just talked to you about. What's the fundamental cause of poverty, how poverty would disappear in the future, how a revolution would occur. And so from my calculations that I made in the past, a political revolution would occur in the United States by the end of this decade, by around 2010. And the revolution could go on for 4 or 5 years before it is complete. So from 2010 to 2016, we could see major changes in the US economy and society. It would be a peaceful revolution, and it would bring an end to the rule of money in society. That, to me, that's capitalism. The rule of wealth or the rule of money in the economy, in politics, in religion, in society, in culture. That to me is monopoly capitalism. So monopoly capitalism is going to end in the near future. That's my current forecast. why is this revolution so close? Well, you need, or there are three preconditions for a successful revolution. Three ingredients are needed for a successful revolution. One is that there is an unpopular war. And we know there is an unpopular war in the United States going on right now. The United States is fighting fundamentalist Islam in Iraq and Afghanistan, and that war is very unpopular in the United States. Now people are dead set against it. The other precondition is growing political corruption, and that is also happening in America. There's a lot of political corruption and people are fed up with it. People are aware of it. The third precondition is economic chaos. So we have two already. The third one has just started with this housing crisis, mortgage crisis in the United States, and this is going to spread and spread. No matter what the authorities do, this crisis would not stop. The only way to stop this economic chaos is to raise wages in proportion to productivity, but that the government would never do. So my fear is that this economic chaos is going to spread and spread, and people in the end would be so fed up that they would demand a change to their constitution. They would demand an end to the rule of money in elections and politics, and that would be truly revolutionary. And what happens in the United States nowadays then quickly spreads around the world. So I feel that there would be a Proutist revolution in America, Proutist in the sense that this revolution would lead to economic democracy. So there would be Proutist revolution in America, and then that revolution would spread to the rest of the world very quickly. And I hope, and this is my request to you, to come and join the Proutist movement all over the world. Wherever you are, there is a Proutist movement. Come and join the Proutist movement and shorten the period of chaos that's coming up. If we actively join the Proutist movement and educate the public about the real cause of poverty, then we can quickly bring about this revolution and bring an end to exploitation, ruthlessness, and corruption. I have taken a lot of pains to educate the public in America and around the world about the true cause. I even wrote a book against very powerful people in the United States. One of them was Greenspan. Alan Greenspan was the chairman of the Federal Reserve and a very powerful figure. He was adored by the intellectuals in America. Some of them even called him a maestro. Then I looked at what he had done over the past 20, 30 years, and I wrote a book called Greenspan's Fraud. I actually exposed this man and showed that he was a fraud. He was simply doing everything to maintain his own high position in the government and in society. And my publisher did not want to publish this book at first because it was so explosive. They sent this book to attorneys, to a law firm, to see if the facts that I had collected were true or not. After they confirmed the veracity, the truthfulness of those facts, then they decided to publish this book. So I call upon you to come and expose the officials with their corrupt practices. Come join this movement, and if you do that, then the long period of chaos that is about to come, that's about to start, will be shortened, and we together, you and I, will then bring about a global revolution.